we've been kind of experimenting with an equipment and inventory aspect to all of this. And we've made some pretty radical updates to it recently. So hopefully these are helpful, but there's a bit of an experimental piece to this. And so really need you guys to promise me that you're going to go through and play with it and give us your feedback, because part of what I'm going to show you tonight is still in beta. It means it's not the final experience you're going to have once we're done with this here in probably a couple months. But we need some feedback from you. We need you to kind of be understanding with us as we work some of the wrinkles out as we go along. But we're really excited to share it and show it to you. So let's jump in. I'm going to actually start from scratch, but you can see some of the sample equipment inventory that we've put in here. This first section is going to be your trucks or your work vans, or whatever you want to put on there. It's not really meant for your mowing equipment. Your mowing equipment is meant to be housed down here, and I'll show you why in just a moment. But you've got full listing of everything that's active, what truck certain things is checked out to, excuse me, when something's broken, what's been deleted, so you still always have a record that it was on file and that you owned that piece of machinery, and then anything that's been canceled as not being on the truck anymore. Consumables also are really important here, but you'll understand it better once I go through the full picture. So let me just slow down for a second, because again, this is in beta, meaning it's probably a little bit confusing and clunky right now. We want you guys to tell us what we need to do to change that. Let me add something in here. We're going to add a blue Chevy. Sorry for those of you who are Ford fans. You're welcome to your opinion, but we're going to call this the blue Chevy. We're going to go ahead and include a trailer on this one because we're hauling a couple mowers on the back, a couple leaf blowers, trimmers, etc. This is going to go to the mow crew, so that's who it's going to be assigned to. Let's see, it's a Chevy Silverado, license plate number, and any notes that you want to have on it. I'm going to save that truck. So that truck is now a part of our list right down here. And what we want to do is we can take some actions on this, just as far as managing the data that we're keeping on that truck specifically. But as you can see, there's equipment and consumables that can be listed. Right now, both of those are set to 0 because we haven't added anything in yet. You can also see notes on the truck right here and that it has a trailer, but we want to push this pop-down arrow, and this is new. So for those of you who are following along kind of in your own account at home, click that purple arrow, and it's going to expose equipment and consumables that are on the vehicle. For the sake of example, I'm going to go ahead and add in a piece of equipment here. We're going to say this is the riding mower. Insert your favorite brand, whatever you've got. Put in the serial number. And this is an active mower. We could say it's checked out, broken, whatever. We're just going to leave it active for right now. It's assigned to the blue Chevy. And the notes on this are whatever you want them to be. Now, under this, we know that this is a riding mower, so we're going to mark all of the consumables here that this specific mower uses. So for trimmers, you would check trimmer string. For your mowers, you're going to check oil and gas most likely, or maybe this does take hydraulic fluid sometimes on certain pieces of the mower. It's going to be a certain type of mower, right? Let's say it's a dry belt stand-on mower for now. And then we want to say every so many hours that are driven on the mower, we're going to need maintenance on it. So let's say every 50. Every 50 hours, this is going to be recurring maintenance. And then I'm going to save that piece of equipment. Now, what we now have housed on our truck is 3 different consumables and 1 piece of equipment. You can see those numbers there where my mouse is. Also, everything about that item is listed under the truck, as well as in its own section here. So you've got the riding mower that I then tagged as a stand-on, and the different things about it. So it's got recurring maintenance. We're going to notify every 0 hours, apparently, every 50 hours. And you can take some different actions here. Do the history of the product, everything like that. Same with your consumables. The gas has been added. The oil has been added. There's plenty of stuff here to go around to the blue Chevy right there. So that's the updates on equipment and inventory. Now, just tracking things manually is great because it gives you a place to start, but it doesn't give you everything you need. So we wanted to give you a way for you and your crew members to track this. And so I'm going to show that to you now. And I'm going to go ahead and switch over to viewing this from my device so that you can see it from the Crew app itself. So let me log into my Crew app on the phone. And then I'll go ahead and share that screen with you. Okay. Bear with me as I switch over here. Okay. So here's the Crew app. Some of you have probably seen this because you have crews running on this, but here is the beta button right down at the lower right-hand corner there, that checklist. And it's marked as beta, again, because we want you to know we need your feedback on it to make it better. So let's go ahead and get into that screen. Here's a couple of checklists that I've completed or checklists that I've started as a crew member or as a foreman, however you dish out the app to your folks. I'm going to go ahead and hit the plus button in the lower right-hand corner and select which checklist I'm going to do. Now, we don't have a checklist that's built for that blue Chevy yet, but we do have one that's built for the white van, which we did earlier, and it's very similar. Only this time we added trimming equipment instead of the mower specifically. And on each of these checklists, we want to make sure that our crew members are going through each item individually so that we get a chance to have them be accountable, as well as have some backup documentation for what they're saying is left in the truck, as well as for maintenance purposes later on. So if I'm going to check the oil on here, then as a crew member, I'm going to be required to say, oh, it was 10 before, but now I only have 6 units of oil in the vehicle. I can add notes on that. Save those notes. I can also add a photo if I want to that specific item. Then I'm going to do the same with the gas levels. Check the gas levels. Well, they were at 5 before. Now they're at 3. Any notes on that you need? Probably not. Time using the trimmer. Just like the mower on this checklist, we set there to be a certain number of hours at which the trimmer is going to need maintenance on it. And so that's every 50 hours for the trimmer, let's say. So let's say we used it for 4 hours today. Add any photos that we need to, any notes that we need to. And then you've got any overall notes and overall photos for the entire checklist that you can add. Notes for the day. Let's go ahead and add a photo here. Let's take a photo of this amazing Lawn Buddy pen. May not give me a clear one there. That'll work for now. Then we're going to, we can save that checklist for later if we want to, and I'll tell you why that would be a good idea here in a second. But then we're going to mark it complete at the end of the day. I'm going to get a verification of that as a crew member, and now we are done. A couple other things on the Crew app really fast while we're here. If you're under jobs, you are able to see what your crew sees. Now, this is a little bit of a new look for those of you who have had the Crew app for a long time. A little bit of a new look. Still not able to edit the things that they don't need to edit, but they are able to add in notes on whatever they did, any special customer notes that you need to be aware of in the office or as the owner of the company. And then they are able to add photos and then mark that job complete at the end of the day. And so that is what we're going over on the Crew app. I want to join in again to my main screen here and go back and show you what it looks like once your crew member has completed the checklist. Because again, we do this to allow you as a business owner to have additional visibility into what's going on, as well as the ability to manage your team a little bit easier just through the platform. I'm going to refresh this page so we get an update from the app here, and I'm going to click on checklists, this beta button. Here's where we can create the checklists, and I'll show you that in just a second. And I can go down and see the ones that have been completed. Click this little line, and I'll actually be able to see everything that my crew member put in to that checklist. Now, here's the other cool thing. A lot of you guys have asked about time tracking abilities, and we've kind of got something in place for you here where the check-in time would be when they start the checklist at the beginning of the day. So they're going to click into the checklist to remind themselves of what they need to be tracking, and that's going to clock them in. And when they finish that checklist, when they mark it complete, it's going to clock them out. Now, what I didn't include as a crew member was doing a bunch of jobs for the day. Remember, I completed the job after I did the checklist. For all the jobs that crew has completed for the day, they're going to be listed here with all this information, with a roll-up of how much money they brought into the company, how much revenue they brought in for the day. So you'll also get a snapshot of that in this section, as well as on your main dashboard where there's a rolling 7-day total. On creation of a checklist, I do want to touch on that really quickly, but just making sure that I don't miss anything. I don't think we have any questions so far. Hey, everybody that's watching, thanks for joining. Sean, Thomas, Dalton, and everybody else that's on. Let me go through and show you guys how to create a checklist, because I know that's what you'll be doing here first. Recommend naming it according to the truck it's attached to or the crew it's attached to, so that it's easy to identify, because they get to pick from that list of templates. Now, this checklist is going to be assigned to the truck. We want to add, allow employees to add text or just to let them check that it's done. And we want to tell it what to track. We put in the riding mower, so it's got that as an option. And we want them to track oil, gas, how much sand is on the mower, etc. So we're going to say we want them to track the gas. Call that the gas remaining. Oops, sorry. And then add that, and they'll be able to put that in. Then we'll add another item. Hours used on the riding mower. Add that. This pop-up box is going to come up just in case you haven't already set that riding mower to need maintenance every 50 hours, so that you'll be notified. Since I have set that up already, I'm going to say no. Now, I'm also going to add a checklist that's just called truck miles. How many miles are on the truck? And I want them to add text to that each time, so I know how far they've driven during the day in actual miles. Did you lock the vehicle? We're going to allow them to check that as done. Other than that, that is going to wrap up how we create the checklist. I'm going to save that. And now it is saved as part of our checklist that our guys can go and view and knock out. So that's kind of the updates that we had. Really appreciate you guys joining in. And for those of you who are watching afterwards, we've been super excited to share this with you guys. I think it's a good time to drop some of these things out as the season's slowing down a little bit. And this will give you guys a chance to go through, spend a little bit of time exploring and seeing how it's going to help, experimenting with some of this. Typically on the new features, what I recommend doing is working on one or two of your trucks, one or two of your crews at a time to kind of get them used to this, especially since it's beta. Give us some feedback. Let us make some improvements and adjustments. Let us make it easier to view. One of the comments that we thankfully get from you guys all the time is, man, this is really simple in comparison to other products that are out there. We really appreciate that. We're thankful for all the feedback you guys have given us so that we can make it that simple for you. And we're working hard to keep it that way. We know that this is a little bit more complex of a area than maybe you guys are used to. So feel free to reach out for times when you want to talk to us directly. We can share our screen with you directly one-on-one and go over all of these things. We're here for you anytime, whatever you need. And so just reach out. Again, my direct email is james@lawnbuddy.com, or you can reach out to the general team at hello@lawnbuddy.com for those of you who didn't know, or click the support button within your app or web platform. We love being your technology partner. Let us know what else you need. And thanks so much for being a part of Lawn Buddy. Have a great night, everybody.